This final battle ends with a bloody handprint on the wall, his holy staff completely shattered, and our boy Yan Yanggong, the priest of light, is on his knees. He cannot understand how it all went so wrong. Screaming at the heavens, he demands to know why an angel would side with demons. And there is his answer, the goddess of light herself standing with the demon king. Her excuse is just cold, hard pragmatism. Humanity was a losing bet. Yan Yanggong furiously points out her betrayal is the only asterisk reason they lost. But the demon king just laughs, mocking the last healer standing. Then with a flick of his finger, the priest is sent flying. This demon lord savors this moment, pure evil in his eyes, a massive hand descending to just erase him from existence. He's getting crushed, his body giving out under the pressure. His final moments are just pure agonizing pain. This fist closes completely, a brutal final crunch. And just like that, the hero is gone, leaving nothing behind but a splatter on the cold stone. But wait, a system window pops up. He has obtained the Demon Lord system. Our boy is understandably confused since he was asterisk just turned into paste. Now the system is transferring him to something called the Demon Altar. He is now a level 1 Demon Lord with stats that would not scare a house cat, his eyes snapping open, now glowing a demonic red. And the transfer drops him onto a strange, desolate altar, where a massive cross-shaped coffin looms over him. Turns out there are 10 of them arranged in a big spooky circle. Our boy is quite reasonably asking what is with all the coffins, and the system explains he is the new boss with 10 legendary demons to unlock. Yan Yanggong is having a moment since his entire life was spent asterisk fighting demons, and he cannot believe this is his reward, a promotion to the enemy team. Suddenly, one of the coffins starts rumbling with a dark energy. But then it clicks, this power is his one-way ticket to revenge. So with a new fire in his eyes, he accepts the job offer. This system gives him instructions for his trip back to the living. He steps onto the mark and the whole place lights up. Blue lightning arcing from the altar straight to a single coffin, slamming into it like a key turning in an ancient lock. Power just explodes from both ends of the connection, engulfing Yan Yanggong in a brilliant pillar of light. And he makes a vow to settle the score with that traitor goddess. This priest of light is gone, replaced by a demon lord with a grudge. Back in the world of the living, Yan Yanggong finds his own grave, where an old comrade Su Dingfeng is busy calling him a coward, until a voice from behind complains about the shoddy tombstone. This guy whips around, completely stunned by that familiar sound. And it is Yan Yanggong, back from the dead and already critiquing his memorial. Su Dingfeng is so shocked he drops his lollipop, barely getting his name out. And yep, it is him, confirming he is in fact not a ghost. His friend breaks down crying, revealing he has been visiting this grave for 5 years, which is a huge shock to Yan Yanggong, who had no idea he time-skipped. But his buddy's priorities are a mess. He is furious Yan Yanggong is still level 2. As they catch up, they pass a massive statue of an angel. And Su Dingfeng explains the official story. Angels won the war, so now they are worshipped. Yan Yanggong, who knows the real, traitorous version, is absolutely disgusted. His friend admits he would have believed the lies too, but now it is time to celebrate, even offering to treat him to a meal at a new spot. But Yan Yanggong is all business. He is heading straight for a dungeon to level up. Su Dingfeng agrees but warns him that a lot has changed in 5 years. Which leads to some immediate and intense culture shock for our boy, because dungeons are now commercialized, complete with an admission desk. This price is pure robbery, a huge fee plus an 80% cut of all loot. This receptionist hits back, saying these prices are the new normal. So Su Dingfeng immediately tries to kick his face in, but Yan Yanggong stops him. Then we get a quick lore drop, humans sealed monsters into dungeons long ago. But those seals are starting to fail, letting the beasties out to play, which is why adventurers started clearing them out in the first place. And in a tragic flashback, we see Su Dingfeng was the only survivor of his old team. Yan Yanggong is still stuck on the 80% loot tax, calling it straight-up extortion. And his buddy explains that since the war is over, dungeons are just cash grabs now. But he is happy to spot Yan Yanggong the entry fee, since he always helped them out back in the day. Su Dingfeng finally asks what the big plan is anyway, and Yan Yanggong just casually says he is gonna level up and enslave the dungeon boss. Suddenly, his demonic eyes flare up, he senses danger approaching, and the two of them look up as a massive shadow falls over them, revealing a giant level 1 scorpion, basically a starter zone mob. Su Dingfeng tells him to stand back and watch a pro work, powering up his magic, and this pro immediately has a massive claw swinging right for his head. This scorpion closing the distance in a flash, forcing him to throw up a tiny shield that barely blocks the hit. He gets absolutely launched by the impact, completely overpowered, landing flat on his back as the monster looms over him, ready to finish the job. Yan Yanggong notes his friend can handle these weaklings just fine, but the exp gain is absolutely pathetic, so Su Dingfeng tells him to round up a whole crowd for some area of effect carnage. This loot and experience points immediately start raining down, leaving a battlefield littered with scorpion parts. In no time at all, Yan Yanggong hits level 2, impressing his buddy with the speed, which unlocks a new skill for him, a fear-based stun called Soul Tremor, and now he is ready to show off his real party trick. Su Dingfeng absolutely loses his mind, thinking he is about to see a demon conversion. But Yan Yanggong's got something else in mind, calling on the dead scorpions to become his allies, his demonic power surging into the corpses on the ground, which begin to reassemble themselves in a burst of hellfire, forming into a brand new, much scarier shape. and Su Dingfeng can only stare, completely speechless, because now there are two humanoid scorpion warriors standing before them. His friend is just blown away by how cool this new necromancy is. Then Yan Yanggong gives his new minions their first order, clear the dungeon, and the scorpion demons take off like a shot, ready to wreck everything in their path. They absolutely shred the remaining mobs, while Su Dingfeng has a brilliant idea, AFK grinding, a plan so smart he has gotta give himself a thumbs up for it. Su Dingfeng explains that with the new fees, dungeon runs are basically a money-losing hobby now. When suddenly a dark energy blast zips past them, the boss is already here. And Su Dingfeng is horrified as one of the scorpion minions gets instantly vaporized, its severed head apologizing for waking the boss and being too weak to fight it. Yan Yanggong just looks on, completely unfazed. He never expected his starter pets to win anyway, leaving him to face the dungeon boss alone, surrounded by his minions' spare parts. Meet the Mole King Rark, a giant, armored bug thing that looks seriously ticked off. So Su Dingfeng steps up, ready to tank like old times and telling Yan Yanggong to stay back. But Yan Yanggong flips the script. He has got low damage, so he will be the bait. His master plan involves flipping the monster off, a truly classic taunt, which of course sends the Mole King into a blind rage, and Yan Yanggong quickly lays out the plan. He will stun it. Su Dingfeng stabs it. This kid takes off running, leading the giant, angry mole on a merry chase, with the beast closing in fast, ready to turn him into a pancake. But he pulls off a slick slide right between its legs at the last second. His eyes flare with demonic power as he unleashes Soul Tremor, and the Mole King freezes solid, completely paralyzed by the fear effect. Yan Yanggong screams for his buddy to attack now, sending Su Dingfeng charging in at full speed for the kill, and he lands a perfect, brutal strike right into the monster's weak spot. But the stun fails instantly, and the Mole King is not asterisk happy, immediately diving underground with a massive crash, leaving a giant pit between our two heroes. Su Dingfeng helpfully points out his friend's attack was useless, and Yan Yanggong explains he was just aiming for the weak spot. Our boy already has a new plan though. He is the bait. Since the monster fears him, it'll attack from behind for an easy kill. His friend is totally impressed by this big brain strategy. But Yan Yanggong just says he learned it from the pros. Suddenly his demonic eyes flare up. It is here, and the ground behind him erupts as the Mole King bursts out, with Su Dingfeng perfectly positioned for the kill shot, except the monster completely ignores Yan Yanggong, instead lunging straight for his buddy with its mouth wide open. This thing is going right for Su Dingfeng's face, who is about to become a very surprised chew toy. But at the last second, Yan Yanggong's eyes glow, freezing the beast in place. He yells that he cannot hold it for long, sending Su Dingfeng charging in with a battle cry, and he lands a perfect, gushing strike right into its gut. This Mole King goes down, dropping some surprisingly decent loot for a starter boss, including a shield that stores blocked damage for a massive counterattack, and a dagger with a chance to grant an instant extra slash on a hit. Su Dingfeng is floored. This gear is way too good for a level 1 dungeon, but Yan Yanggong explains he just gambled on a high-level boss having a baby version here. After offering his buddy first pick, Su Dingfeng grabs the shield for his tank build, admitting he was always a melee fighter at heart but played healer for his old team's sake. Our boy thinks the loot will easily cover his debt, but his friend has some bad news about the economy, which leads them right back to the front desk, with Yan Yanggong slamming his fist down, accusing the guild of running a monopoly that forces adventurers to sell their loot for nothing. This receptionist just scoffs, threatening to start charging them for experience points next, a true innovator in extortion. Just as things get heated, some guild goons show up and Su Dingfeng tries to de-escalate. But Yan Yanggong's demon eyes are flaring. He senses something off about this desk jockey. And the guy proves him right, flipping him off while revealing a dark demonic aura of his own. Suddenly, a bald-headed enforcer and his crew step in to handle the situation, telling our boys to get lost before they get seriously hurt. But Yan Yanggong has a new plan, demanding the shield as compensation for his emotional damage. And despite his friend's protests, he insists on handing it over. With a demonic glint in his eye, he promises he will be taking it back very, very soon. Later that night, they arrive at a lone building, clearly ready for a little payback. Inside, the guild's enforcers are just relaxing in their totally not evil hideout, while the boss watches a news report about missing adventurers. What a shocker. His subordinate asks about a shady weekly visitor but gets told to mind his own business. And from a back room, some seriously dark energy starts seeping out, where it looks like someone is literally on the menu for dinner tonight. As a dude just happily chows down with a sickening crunch, a sudden noise outside interrupts the meal, so the boss sends a guy to check, who complains it is probably just a stray cat, truly a master of threat assessment. Then the shield they stole comes crashing down, completely wrecking a car's hood, and Yan Yanggong appears right behind him, ready to collect his property. Our boys step out of the shadows, officially kicking off this repo mission, sending the terrified goon stumbling back inside to warn his crew. This rest of the gang looks up, completely blindsided by the intrusion, just as Yan Yanggong's eyes flare with demonic power, hitting the bald enforcer with a soul tremor that freezes him in pure terror. That is Su Dingfeng's cue to launch himself into the room like a human cannonball, coming down hard on one of the stunned goons with brutal force. He absolutely wrecks the place, sending bodies and furniture flying everywhere, even yeeting one guy straight through the window for a dramatic exit. But the bald boss snaps out of it, screaming as he powers up some fire magic. Plot twist: he is a mage. This bald mage throws out some fire whips, but our boy just weaves right through them, and with the room a total mess, the boss screams for someone to kill the kid already. But Yan Yanggong's eyes flare up again, time for another round of Soul Tremor, hitting the boss full force with that terrifying red aura. Which is so effective the guy literally puts his own gun to his head, talk about self-sabotage, and just like that the whole crew is down for the count. His work is not done though, he senses a much nastier energy coming from a back room, so the door slowly creaks open because of course it does, and our boy steps inside ready for whatever fresh hell is waiting. First thing he sees is a half-eaten body on a table, so that is where the missing adventurers went. Followed by a nice friendly pile of skulls in the corner to complete the decor. Yan Yanggong finally confronts the cannibal, calling him out for being a parasite, but this guy just scoffs, threatening to add a level 2 adventure to the menu. Our boy's response is just a little smirk, completely unbothered, as he calmly reminds the dude about his promise to take back what is his. That sends the cannibal into a rage, powering up his own fire magic to roast him alive. His hands igniting with some serious-looking fireballs, this guy's a mage too, and a whole volley of fire gets launched straight at Yan Yanggong, who just casually dances through the attack with his dagger out, leaving the cannibal mage sweating, realizing he bit off way more than he can chew. Yan Yanggong moves like a flash, his new dagger leaving a web of red slashes in the air, and the cannibal is just baffled. The kid's file said level 1 healer, not human blender. A red streak zips right past his face, a little too close for comfort. Then the dagger's special ability kicks in, granting an instant extra slash for good measure. This mage just looks down, completely stunned by the sudden attack, now bleeding from a dozen cuts before he could even react. Our boy then offers him a new job opportunity, his personal servant. What an honor. This, predictably, does not go over well with the cannibal mage. He tries to power up one last time, grabbing his own hand to channel some desperate fire magic, but Yan Yanggong just gives him a look that says, "Are you done yet?" A massive explosion of dark energy just vaporizes the guy on the spot. From the smoke, a shadowy figure with glowing eyes emerges against the moon, sporting a very fancy, spiky, golden belt buckle. Turns out the cannibal was just a meat suit for a level 2 elite demon named Pundi. This demon is unimpressed, wondering how his host got taken out by a mere level 2 adventurer, casually mentioning he accidentally burned his ride and needs a new one, such an inconvenience. While the demon is busy monologuing, Yan Yanggong starts casting an enslaved demon spell, and Pundi suddenly turns, sensing something is off, just as our boy unleashes a swirling vortex of red energy right at him. This demon just scoffs that a slow spell will never hit him as it smacks him right in the face. This spell hits, but Pundi just laughs, taunting him for being too slow. As Yan Yanggong sees the counterattack coming, a massive wave of fire, forcing him to leap for his life as the entire room just explodes below, and our boy knows he is in a seriously tight spot now. This blast is a swirling inferno of pure demonic energy, which promptly burns through the floor, frying the goons downstairs. Oops. And Yan Yanggong realizes he needs to change the venue fast. He just smashes straight through the roof to get some fresh air, with Pundi right on his tail, mocking his escape attempt, boasting that his special hellfire will burn anything to ash. This demon zips through the forest like a heat-seeking missile, landing when he loses his target, calling him a cunning little rat. At that moment, something slices through the air right beside him, and Yan Yanggong drops out of the trees with a devastating downward slash, tearing a massive gash right across the demon's chest. Pundi stares at his own wound in total disbelief, then gets furious, charging up a point-blank fire blast in retaliation. But our boy is already airborne, dodging the attack with ease. This demon completely loses his cool, vowing to skin him alive for that stunt, and with a final roar he lunges forward, screaming, "You are mine now." Pundi unleashes a whole barrage of demonic fireballs, forcing Yan Yanggong to sprint for his life as the forest explodes, and this wave of pure destruction just keeps on coming. So our boy takes a leap of faith right off a cliff. He lands in a rocky ravine, dagger ready for a counter, but Pundi's right there, mocking him for trapping himself in a dead end. This demon gloats that there is nowhere left to run, then unleashes his ultimate move, the Inferno Cannon. A massive beam of hellfire just rips through the canyon, leaving a smoking crater where Yan Yanggong used to be. Pundi starts complaining about his last host's diabetes, no more fat hosts for him apparently. But his victory speech is cut short by a sudden noise, as a massive armored golem comes crashing down from the sky, slamming right into the demon with a huge impact. This thing has Pundi pinned, who looks completely stunned by the ambush, wondering how the human survived his ultimate attack. He looks over at the empty crater, realizing it was a decoy, and it clicks, he was baited into a trap by the kid's servant. But Pundi's not done, powering up and screaming this is not enough to stop him. Just as Yan Yanggong appears, casually leaning on his new pet golem, Yan Yanggong's spell wraps a glowing chain right around Pundi's neck. As he casts Enslaved Demon, a massive shadow entity looming behind him, Pundi's eyes go all swirly, the mind control kicking in hard. And just like that, Yan Yanggong tells his golem to release the new pet. This first order of business is, of course, shaking the demon down for all his valuables. Out comes the stolen shield and a bunch of other fancy-looking weapons, followed by a very nice pile of gold bars. Payday. Pundi explains the guild's entire treasury is right here, converted into loot. Our boy is stunned to learn this is over 10 million just from bullying newbies. But then a chain snaps, uh-oh, that is not a good sound, and a system warning confirms it, the demon is breaking free. Pundi powers up one last time, a smug look on his face, screaming die, as he unleashes a final desperate attack, blasting Yan Yonggong with a point-blank energy wave. This attack backfires spectacularly, launching Pundi into the sky and getting him eliminated. That nets our boy a level up and a new passive, Lord Privilege, for leeching X from his servants. He now stands over the aftermath with a tiny, chibi version of Pundi. With glowing eyes, Yan Yonggong demands his new servant swear absolute loyalty, his power crackling as he fills another slot in his demon space. And just like that, Pundi is a loyal LV3 servant, ready for orders, no training required. Yan Yonggong knows the low-level dungeons are a racket, so it is time to find some unregulated action. And his first order for Pundi is a simple one: take him to the other monster hideouts. Meanwhile, at some random apartment building, a blonde-haired guy answers the door to a delivery he never ordered, and he drags the massive box inside, convinced someone's pranking him with bricks. But inside is his stolen shield and a whole lot of gold bars, best prank ever. A note from Yan Yonggong explains the gift and even offers him a job for future dungeon runs, leaving the guy absolutely stunned that someone actually got his stuff back from that rogue guild. He is also having a moment with his first ever gold bar, which is nice. While he is inside screaming about being rich, the delivery guy just waits patiently outside the door, who turns out to be Pundi in a clever disguise, reporting the mission is complete. What a team player. Yan Yonggong seems pleased with the errand, but he is already on to the next thing, now riding his golem as he asks Pundi if they have arrived at the next location. Pundi has led him to a massive, ornate temple of the light god, a pretty bold choice for a demon's tour. This little demon explains that every temple they destroy weakens the light angel's power, which is all the convincing our boy needs to give the go-ahead for a little divine desecration. He tells his golem, now named Rark, to go into stealth mode until he gives the signal. Back at the Rogue Guild's former headquarters, all that is left is a smoking crater and some confused survivors. This guild's treasury head, Zhu Tong, arrives demanding to know where his brother is, the former cannibal boss. But his men can only report that a strange fire magic burned everything and everyone to ash. Zhu Tong is fuming not about his dead brother but about the 10 million gold priorities people. Meanwhile, inside the temple, a level 3 corrupted light knight stands guard, and Yan Yonggong is already surrounded, casually farming X from the first casualty. Our boy offers them one last chance to surrender, out of professional courtesy, but their response is a giant sword to the face, so negotiations are clearly over. Yan Yonggong just sidesteps and takes the knight's head clean off, as another one rushes in, sword raised for the kill, only to get blasted with a soul tremor for his trouble. That sends the poor guy flying, completely stunned by the mental attack, so the whole platoon decides to just charge and push him off the bridge. Yan Yonggong prepares to hit them all with another soul tremor, which gets immediately blocked by a glowing shield interrupting the spell. Plan B is just to leap right over the entire charging line of armored goons, coming down with a devastating slash right through their formation. His blade carves a clean path through the air, and our boy becomes a pinball of death, bouncing between targets. These knights are stunned, but they cannot retreat or their overseer will get them. And speak of the devil, the level 3 elite overseer finally shows up. He turns his head, finally noticing the one-man army wrecking his troops, then swings a massive battle axe, ready to end this personally. This overseer's axe glows with holy power, ready for a big swing, and his attack carves a massive trench right down the middle of the bridge, wiping out his own knights in a spectacular display of friendly fire. He then has the nerve to call Yan Yonggong a demon for it. The hypocrisy is staggering. Meanwhile, Pundi sneezes, feeling the shade from miles away, but our boy is totally fine, shielded by his golem Rark, who took the hit like a champ. Yan Yonggong offers the overseer a very clear one-finger salute for his efforts. This big guy gets even madder, vowing to make them regret stepping foot in his temple. He winds up for another massive swing, clearly not a fan of subtlety, bringing the axe down with everything he has got. And we cut to a completely different scene where a dude's head just got lopped off. His buddy watches it roll by, having a perfectly reasonable panic attack. This poor guy is now begging for his life, cornered against a wall. A purple-haired assassin is interrogating him about a former guild member. He pulls out a photo of some guy with light hair and a toothpick. This informant immediately recognizes him as Su Dingfeng. This assassin Neta Hu gets a real nasty look, demanding to know where he lives. With his dead friend in his lap, the guy explains how Neta killed their tank instantly. He spills the entire address in a single breath, just wanting to live. Neta asks if he looks cruel, then tells the guy to get lost, which probably means die. Neta Hu reveals he was just kidding about letting the guy go, what a surprise. Then unleashes a spell called Magic Blade, Hidden Heart, just to be extra. And a single stomp sends a wave of energy across the ground, slamming the poor informant right into the brick wall. This guy is literally split down the middle, a very permanent way to tie up loose ends, and with the job done, Neta just checks his phone and says next, like he is ordering pizza. Meanwhile, we cut to a totally normal-looking apartment building, where Su Dingfeng hears a knock at his door. He peeks out, probably expecting another gift from Yan Yonggong. But it is Neta Hu asking if he is the man he is looking for, and we are back at the temple where some big-shot knight is chilling on a golden throne, who spots a lone intruder walking up the long red carpet, and it is our boy Yan Yonggong, now level 4 and ready for business. This knight is pissed, calling him a bug and wondering why the overseer is slacking off. So Yan Yanggong gets an idea, holding up a little cockroach, which he promptly squishes flat in his palm. Then asks if that is the overseer they are looking for. What a troll. He casually tosses the overseer's actual head, which rolls right down the stairs, and the head comes to a stop, confirming the guy is definitely not waking up again. This new knight is stunned, realizing Yan Yanggong just soloed an elite without a scratch. This knight starts monologuing about how our boy has no idea who he is up against, introducing himself as the level 22 corrupted commander Argus, a real mouthful. So Yan Yanggong just hits him with a soul tremor to shut him up. But the attack gets completely resisted. This guy's got some serious mental defense, and Argus immediately leaps high into the air for a downward strike, coming down with a massive glowing sword slash that is all flash, which Yan Yanggong just barely manages to dodge, using the opening to land a clean counter slash of his own, sending the armored commander flying backward through the air. But our boy realizes this boss is way faster and stronger than the last one, as the knight's momentum sends him tumbling across the rooftop too. So Yan Yanggong starts gathering some nasty-looking dark energy in his hand, then kicks off the ground to launch a ball of pure purple destruction. But Argus is ready, throwing up a light shield to block the attack, and the dark magic slams right into the holy barrier, erupting in a massive, screen-shaking explosion, which clears to reveal the knight still standing somehow, and he is just baffled how his strongest shield got shattered by a low-level fire skill. But before he can finish his thought, a blade is already at his neck, because Yan Yanggong is right there behind him, ready to finish the job. Argus whines about an unethical sneak attack with a knife to his throat, mind you. Yan Yanggong hits back, asking where his morals are for serving a traitor goddess. And with that, the knight's head goes flying, problem solved. But his hand still grips the sword, which is not a great sign. This headless body just gets up and swings anyway. Talk about dedication to the job. Our boy is stunned, wondering how he is still fighting after a clear kill shot. Turns out, the knight is just glowing with some kind of holy revival magic. And Yan Yanggong realizes this healing is way beyond anything he has ever seen. This headless wonder then winds up for a devastating punch, sending our boy flying clean across the rooftop. Glowing with power, Argus prepares to turn him to ash, unleashing a massive radiant flash attack, which catches Yan Yanggong completely off guard. A huge beam of holy light erupts into the sky, and after the dust settles, the knight just stands there looking up. Suddenly, we are in a flashback where Argus is complaining about his useless guards, and he has a sudden flash of recognition. He remembers a rookie Yan Yanggong from years ago, shocked he is even alive. This memory shows his teammate getting beaten senseless by the Zhu Scorpion Guild, who then went to the Adventurer Tribunal seeking justice from Argus himself. Back then, his teammate was framed for stealing and stripped of his adventurer license, while the real culprit, Zhu Tong, walked away without a single consequence. Justice is blind, I guess, and the corrupt official who made that ruling was Argus himself, who looks absolutely horrified to be called out on his past. He tries to justify it with some garbage about the goddess's favor, acting all high and mighty. So back in the present, the headless knight powers up, promising this next attack is undodgeable. His sword glows with an insane amount of holy power, summoning a massive blade of light from the heavens called Light Judgment. Yan Yanggong leaps back, narrowly avoiding the initial ground-shattering impact. As the giant sword plummets straight for the rooftop, he feels the magical lock-on and knows it is time to pull out the big guns. Gathering a swirling vortex of pink energy around himself, he unleashes a burning time shield, a skill that literally eats the enemy's attack timeline. And Argus finally gets how he survived before, but scoffs that luck will not save him twice. This holy sword descends with blinding speed and power, coming straight down on Yan Yanggong's position. But the attack is stopped cold by the pink energy barrier. Argus cannot believe a rookie has a shield this strong, but still dismisses him. Yan Yanggong just holds up his hand, calmly maintaining the defense, as the massive blade presses down, causing cracks to spiderweb across his shield. This shield cracks under the immense pressure, bits flying everywhere, and it finally shatters, with Yan Yanggong wondering if he used too much mana. This blast sends the headless knight tumbling backward through the air, carving a massive crater right into the rooftop, leaving Argus completely stunned that our boy survived. Another ultimate attack. Yan Yanggong explains his time-burning skill also works on enemy attacks as long as the level gap is not insane. With his mana low, he declares it is his turn to strike back, unleashing soul-exploding inferno and dumping all his remaining power into one shot. A giant vortex of dark energy spirals down toward the knight, and Argus just braces himself, ready to take the hit head-on. This massive beam slams right into his sword with incredible force, and even this headless wonder is struggling to hold on for dear life. Yan Yanggong's attack just keeps pouring on the pressure, finally overwhelming the knight and shattering the entire platform beneath him. This whole rooftop is just blown to smithereens from the sheer power. In the middle of the crater, Argus is still standing somehow, and he is actually impressed, admitting Yan Yanggong is tougher than he looks, but then calls the damage a little scratch. The ego on this guy. Holy light starts swirling around him as he boasts about his instant healing powers, but suddenly he is confused, his eye completely bloodshot. That dark energy starts eating away at his holy armor, and his instant healing ability just completely shuts down. Because this soul-burning magic is tearing him apart from the inside, he finally gets it. This attack came with a nasty little side effect, and the pain forces the headless wonder down onto one knee. Yan Yanggong calmly points out this is the second time he has knelt today, even taunting him about having soft knees for a high-end mighty knight. Argus immediately starts begging for his life, promising to do anything, talk about a change in tune. But our boy is not finished, saying he forgot to complete his story, leaving the knight totally confused about what is happening. This flashback continues, showing his teammate blacklisted and unable to find work, while everyone around him just gossiped, blaming him for crossing the powerful Zhu family. This injustice drove his friend into absolute despair. So Yan Yanggong and his buddies pooled their money to go help him out, but they arrived at his apartment way too late. Back in the present, he asks Argus if he really thinks he'd ever let him off the hook, and the knight makes one last desperate offer to become his loyal servant. Yan Yanggong says alright, and Argus thinks he is actually safe, planning a counterattack. So our boy just swings his sword and takes the head off again. He then clarifies the deal, sure you can follow me, but you have to be dead first. With the knight finally dead, our boy gets a level up and some sweet new skills. But he is more concerned about why his servant did not send him any exp for the fight. He is mentally yelling at his guy, Pondi, asking if he's been slacking off on the job, and Pondi nervously reports back that he is handling a sticky situation, which turns out to be a three-way standoff in a creepy parking garage. This guy he is protecting is some pink-haired dude who is already bleeding out on the floor, and they are up against a professional killer named Netahu who looks annoyed. Pondi gives a whole speech about how the guy behind him belongs to his liege, while the injured man wonders if Yan Yanggong sent this new lackey to save him. He tries to warn Pondi that this killer is the real deal, flashing back to an hour earlier when he got jumped in his own apartment. This Netahu character just casually tossed him straight through a window, sending him flying out of the building in a shower of glass. Even as a tank, he was apparently knocked out cold with a single hit, only to wake up in this abandoned lot with the killer waiting for him. Back in the present, Pondi decides it is time to make his move, lunging forward with a punch aimed right at the assassin's face. But he is stunned to realize this guy is even faster than his master, as Netahu effortlessly dodges and appears above him in midair, reaching down with a glowing hand to finish the fight for good. Netahu fires off a swirling blast of wind magic, trying to end this quick, unleashing his Tower Gale attack right at Pondi, but the servant just casually sidesteps the invisible rings of force, narrowly avoiding a slice that was aimed right for his neck. He lands smoothly, not even breaking a sweat from the surprise assault. This assassin is completely stunned, wondering how anyone could see his invisible blade, and Pondi admits he cannot, but he can feel the magic and knows to be cautious. After all, he has learned from the best, having fallen for his master's tunnel traps before. Netahu just scoffs that it was dumb luck and charges in with a punch, so Pondi counters with a kick that shatters the concrete floor between them. This raw power sends the assassin stumbling backward, while Pondi closes the distance in a flash to press his attack. Their next exchange sends Pondi flying straight up into the air, leaving him tumbling helplessly toward the ceiling beams. Netahu is already below him, poised to strike the second he falls. Pondi realizes he is too slow to cast a spell and remembers his master's orders, no demon form outside dungeons, which is just fantastic timing. This killer's hand glows as he gathers a swirling vortex of wind, forming a massive razor-sharp blade aimed straight up. All Pondi can do is watch in horror as the attack screams toward him, and it connects, filling the air with a spray of blood and shattered glass. Pondi hits the concrete hard, bleeding out from that last attack. He is absolutely kicking himself for failing to protect his master's friend, while Netahu gloats that his invisible blade has more than one trick. But a system alert pops up. Yan Yanggong just shared a twin summon skill. This assassin just grins, moving in to deliver the final blow. So with his last breath, Pondi activates the reverse summon for his demon lord. He apologizes for failing as dark energy completely swallows him whole. Netahu is totally baffled. His target just vanished into thin air. And across the garage, a portal closes behind Yan Yanggong, who is now guarding both guys. This killer is sweating bullets, unable to believe he could not even track that speed. Yan Yanggong's first order of business is to roast the tank for getting so beat up. Priorities, you know. This guy Dingfeng just gasps that he is alive thanks to Pondi's intervention. Netahu realizes this newcomer is his other target, basically a delivery service for death. Our boy just puts a finger to his lips, telling the assassin it is not his turn to talk. This killer is absolutely vibrating with rage at the sheer disrespect. Yan Yanggong orders Pondi to get Dingfeng to safety, promising to heal them both later. With a single step forward, he sends Crack's spiderwebbing across the floor, then casually stomps on Netahu's invisible wind blade, shattering it completely. Calling him arrogant, the assassin throws a punch with everything he has. But Yan Yanggong's own fist, crackling with dark power, meets it head-on. That punch connects with enough force to completely rearrange a face, sending Netahu spinning backward through the air like a ragdoll, and he slams into the far wall with a bone-shattering crash. Down on one knee, the killer is already looking worse for wear, coughing up blood and wondering what the hell just hit him. He racks his brain, realizing this kid is not on any of his professional lists, so the assassin decides it is time to stop playing around and get serious. But Yan Yanggong is already on him, closing the distance with a kick, and Netahu cannot believe how fast our boy is moving, which is apparently all part of his master plan. What a genius. Suddenly, glowing magic circles erupt from the floor right underfoot, blasting Yan Yanggong with beams of immobilizing energy. Nedahu gloats from a distance, thinking he has got him pinned for good, even starting a lecture about how fights are about more than just power. His smug speech about being a seasoned veteran gets cut short by sudden panic. As a brilliant golden light just shatters the trap from the inside, Yan Yanggong stands there completely unfazed, wrapped in a shimmering shield, leaving the assassin absolutely floored, wondering if he is fighting a holy knight. Our boy just calls him a disappointment, saying his grandma hits harder, ouch. Nedahu's confidence completely evaporates, replaced by pure, uncut terror. Yan Yanggong calls him too weak to even bother killing, delivering a threat for his entire guild, and the assassin is just seething, completely lost for words. His hand literally shakes with rage as our boy just stands there. So Nedahu finally snaps, screaming that he will not be looked down on. Unleashing his ultimate move, the bright blade initial slash. A storm of energy slashes tears through the parking garage, but Yan Yanggong's expression basically says you are asking for it. This whole light show just shatters harmlessly against his golden shield, kicking up a massive cloud of dust and debris from the impact. When the smoke clears, the floor is wrecked, but that is about it. He calmly informs the assassin his damage is still not enough to break through, which forces Nedahu to pull out a nasty-looking red dagger as a last resort. Our boy's eyes immediately lock onto the new weapon, and with a desperate yell, the killer lunges forward for a stab. Yan Yanggong just holds up a hand, calling the whole attempt futile, as the dagger stops dead just inches from his chest. This was supposed to be his ace, a demon-slaying sword designed to be unstoppable against shields, to which Yan Yanggong gives a look that just screams, "Is that a fact?" The shield starts to crack, but so does the supposedly unbreakable dagger, leaving Nedahu staring in horror as his trump card crumbles to dust in his hand. With his trump card shattered, Yan Yanggong just follows up with a kick to the face, sending the assassin blasting straight through the roof of the parking garage, and Nedahu is just screaming, unable to believe there was a second shield. Now they are both plummeting through the open air, which is a bad spot to be in. So the killer starts begging, threatening him with the wrath of his guild, to which Yan Yanggong basically replies, and this sheer terror on this guy's face says it all. He has run out of options. A storm of crimson demonic energy swirls around our boy's fist, and he unleashes it all in one devastating final blow. This punch sends Nedahu flying across the entire countryside, slamming him into a distant mountain with enough force to shatter the peak. All that is left is a massive explosion and a cloud of dust. While Pondi and Dingfeng just watch the smoke rise from miles away, Pondi is sweating bullets, realizing his master copied and improved his skills on the fly, but Dingfeng just chalks it up to a high-level player bullying a low-level one. His servant, however, is having the time of his life, grinning about the revival of demons. Back on the mountain, Yan Yanggong gets a system alert. Nedahu is officially defeated. He even loots the guy's ashes, which can be used for demon conversion because of course they can. This gives him a dark realization: killing other adventurers is way more efficient than grinding mobs. With a new, much darker leveling strategy in mind, he sets his sights on a level 3 dungeon. A new scene opens with a brutal sword slash. Some poor masked guy is about to have a very, very bad day. And by bad day, I mean getting sliced clean in half. Another adventurer bites the dust, netting the killer a cool 50 XP. This new psycho Zhu Yin is actually bored he killed the guy too fast, when his second brother shows up with some great sarcasm. This brother, Zhu Tong, asks why he is suddenly grinding in a dungeon, then mocks him for covering his victims' faces, asking if he gets nightmares. Zhu Yin explains it is not about fear, it is so he can focus on their eyes. Because watching the life fade gives him the ultimate thrill. What a charmer. He cuts the small talk, asking his brother what he actually wants, and Zhu Tong is here to deliver some fresh XP since he knows his hobby. He's got a level 5 adventure lined up, a much bigger prize. Their target's location is a quiet-looking apartment building, where Yan Yanggong is relaxing while Dingfeng gets a workout in. Dingfeng questions why our boy is not grinding, all while holding a 50 kg weight over his face. He has been cooped up for days, which is pretty out of character. But Yan Yanggong reveals his secret: he has outsourced the leveling to his minions. In a level 6 dungeon, his demon army is farming away, with Pondi happily overseeing the whole operation like a proud manager. Pondi's on his rock throne, playing middle manager and yelling at everyone to work harder, while the rest of the demon squad is down below doing all the actual grinding. A sharp-dressed demon calls him out for just sitting there barking orders, and the armored knight Argus immediately threatens the new guy for his sass. Pondi pulls the seniority card, claiming he is the top dog since he has been here the longest, which apparently offends the giant bug demon who charges the loudmouth. To settle this little workplace dispute, Pondi proposes a competition. A contest to see who can farm the most XP for their master. Right on cue, a horde of purple imps swarms in, ready for the slaughter. Pondi immediately unleashes a massive fire breath attack on the crowd, instantly racking up a huge stream of plus 15 XP notifications. This blast absolutely vaporizes the mob, leaving only charred skeletons behind, which then promptly crumble into nothing but dust, and he is pretty pleased with the power boost from his new form. But an imp manages to slip through the chaos and take a swing, while another one sneaks up from behind with a club. This suited demon just mocks him for being too busy stealing kills to watch his own back. As another imp leaps down, the rival points out those big attacks are a huge mana drain, before smugly revealing he is not the only one with AI skills, and he fires a clean energy beam that slices an enemy in two. This rival's own Aya attack tears through the remaining imps. Unleashing his invisible blade, grounded Slash with a smug look. This vortex of slashes just shreds the entire mob instantly, and he gloats to Pondi asking how his Aya compares to that fire breath. Not to be outdone, the armored knight Argus gets in on the action, sarcastically thanking the guy for grouping them up so nicely for him. This suited demon is absolutely losing it. Apparently there is an etiquette to kill stealing. Argus just calls down a massive pillar of holy fire from the sky. And his holy flash completely vaporizes the next wave of mobs. Meanwhile, Yan Yanggong is just taking a stroll as the XP floods his screen, pretty pleased that his minions are getting so competitive down there. A voice calls him over to a portal that has just opened in a nearby rock, and our boy turns to see who it is. Finding a level 5 dwarven warrior named Dov waiting for him, his new friend whispers that dwarves are greedy enough to wipe a party for a pebble. But Dov, who has excellent hearing, slams his hammer down in protest. He then clarifies that yes, greed is a strength, but loyalty is even better. This friend assures Yan Yanggong they are trustworthy guild acquaintances, so our boy agrees. But he points out they are 2 people short for the 5-person dungeon, and his friend just grins and tells him to look up. And up pops a giant, blushing woman from behind a boulder. Meet Eileen, a level 5 giant archer, and yeah, she is huge. She immediately gets shy and hides behind her personal-sized mountain, while his friend just laughs it off, saying she is actually pretty timid. Yan Yanggong then asks about their 5th and final member. When a new voice apologizes for being late, blaming traffic of all things, this whole group turns to see who is finally showing up, and it is none other than Zhu Yin, the psycho killer from before. He is internally monologuing about how these newbies underestimate him. Oh, the irony. This friend vouches for him, spinning a sob story about a recommendation, but Yan Yanggong's instincts are screaming that something is very wrong with this guy. Zhu Yin just gives off the creepiest, most untrustworthy vibe imaginable, as they all stand before the entrance to a level 6 enchanted forest. With the party assembled, they all head towards the portal. But a flashback takes us to 2 hours earlier, back at the apartment, where Yan Yanggong was worried about another guild snagging the dungeon first. He told his friend to send the coordinates while he got a team ready, and we see that same friend leaving the apartment, only for the door to open into a creepy purple-misted forest, not a hallway. He is met by the ambush party, realizing this was a setup all along. This traitor's buddy is already getting the creeps, but the traitor just tells him to suck it up. To calm his nerves, someone offers him a giant jawbreaker on a stick. It is from Eileen, who calls it her magical anti-anxiety lollipop because of course it is. This guy points out her candy is basically a blunt force weapon, which is a fair assessment. Yan Yanggong's eyes narrow, his danger sense is definitely tingling. He stops the group, realizing their dwarven companion Dov has vanished. Meanwhile, Dov is having a religious experience over some shiny rocks. He has found a massive cave of blue magic ore, already counting his future gold. Wasting no time, he immediately starts hacking away at the crystals. Deeper in, he spots even more loot, and the greed is absolutely palpable. This entire cavern is just glittering with treasure as far as the eye can see. He climbs up a ledge for a better view and spots the real prize, a giant, glowing cluster of super rare yellow minerals. His face says it all, he has hit the absolute mother lode. Screaming that it is all his, he leaps down to claim his treasure like a madman. His pickaxe comes swinging down for the first glorious strike, but it just bounces off with a loud clang, not even scratching the surface. Suddenly, the ground beneath him starts glowing with a weird crackling energy. He is completely baffled, wondering what the hell he just hit. Back with the group, the traitor casually explains that dwarves just cannot resist a good mine. A sudden noise puts Yan Yanggong on high alert, while his nervous companion points up at the ridge. It is Dov, screaming his lungs out and running for dear life. He's being chased by a swarm of angry little rock golems, and the traitor just scoffs, mocking him for being scared of a few mobs. But Dov was not running from them, he was running from what was behind them. A level 7 rare boss emerges, a weeping wraith that towers over everyone. Suddenly, the traitor's crew is not looking so tough anymore. This traitor is actually pissed the dwarf brought a boss, ruining his ambush plans. He decides that maybe, just maybe, living is better than getting that XP. Right then, the cave entrance starts glowing with some seriously bad vibes, and a massive energy blast erupts from the mine. This explosion carves a huge crater, sending the party scrambling for cover. One of the traitors gets thrown right at the boss's feet, perfect timing. That giant wraith just opens its mouth, charging up a nasty-looking attack, unleashing a devastating beam of pure green energy. It is a massive area of effect blast washing over the entire battlefield. But just as it hits, Yan Yanggong plants his feet. The others are freaking out, realizing there is no way to dodge this thing. Our boy throws up a light shield, telling everyone to get behind him. Yan Yanggong's holy shield holds back the wraith's massive blast, protecting the whole party. But the corrosive energy just keeps hammering away at the barrier, and his defense starts to crack and sizzle under the strain, as the acid-like attack melts the very ground around them. With a final shatter, the shield completely gives way, and one of the traitor's buddies gets a face full of corrosive goo for his troubles. Yan Yanggong knows his shield is way too weak for a level 7 boss, leaving everyone vulnerable, so he immediately switches gears, activating a switch summon skill. Dark, swirling energy erupts from his hand, catching the traitor and Dov completely by surprise, and who pops out but Rark, the giant bug demon from the XP farming contest. Dav is absolutely losing his mind. A low-level adventurer summoning a demon is basically impossible. Without missing a beat, Yan Yanggong orders his minion to dig an escape tunnel, and Rark immediately slams into the earth, carving out a path. As the others scramble into the hole, they ask what his plan is. But he just waves them off, telling them to hurry while he holds the line. They start their descent, nervously hoping he is right behind them, until Eileen coldly explains he is not coming, he is staying behind to block the acid. This traitor just tells David is fine, claiming our boy is about to level up, a very suspicious choice of words.